The ancient philosopher Plato tells a story about people who have been chained inside a dark cave since birth, facing a wall. Behind them, there's a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, there's a raised walkway. Objects passing along the walkway cast shadows on the wall in front of the prisoners, and they believe these shadows to be the only reality that they know. And then one day, a prisoner breaks free and is forced to turn around and see the fire and the objects casting the shadows. Initially, the freed prisoner is dazzled and experiences discomfort as they are confronted with a new reality different from what they had previously believed. However, as they become accustomed to the light, they begin to see the true nature of reality outside the cave. Eventually, the freed prisoner is led out of the cave into the sunlight, where they see the world in its full glory and realize that the shadows were mere illusions. This enlightenment represents a journey from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, from illusion to truth. Let me tell you another story from the ancient philosopher Lazi. It's the story of the farmer and the horse. Once there was a farmer who owned a horse. One day, his horse ran away. His neighbors, upon hearing the news, came to console him, saying, "What terrible luck! How unfortunate!" The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." A few days later, the farmer's horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors, upon seeing this, exclaimed, "Wow, what great fortune! How lucky!" Again, the farmer simply replied, "Maybe." The following week, while the farmer's son was attempting to tame one of the wild horses, he fell and he broke his leg. The neighbors, upon hearing this, lamented, "What a tragedy! How unlucky!" And once more, the farmer replied, "Maybe." Soon after, the country went to war, and all able-bodied young men were conscripted to fight. The farmer's son, with a broken leg, was spared from the draft. The neighbors, seeing this, rejoiced, saying, "What a blessing! How fortunate!" And yet again, the farmer replied, "Maybe." The reason I'm telling you these stories is because everything that happens is neither good nor bad. It's just feedback, but it's our thoughts about it that make it good or bad. And we can apply this to when we're trying to achieve something. So if our goal in life is to achieve greatness, like we have these thoughts, we have these hopes, we have these dreams, and we just want to achieve this goal or we want to make this thing happen. Quite often, it's our thoughts, no, not quite often, always it's our thoughts that will create that for us, will help us to achieve any goal that we want. But when most people try to achieve something, they focus on the action. So it's like, I have this dream. I want this awesome job. It's not working. Okay, I'm going to take a different action. Ah, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to do something different. Ah, I still haven't achieved that. I'm going to change up what I'm doing. 9 times out of 10, that's what people do. That's how people try to create something for themselves. But what I want to offer up is that it's not the action at all, but in fact, it's the thought that creates the result. You can see in these two stories that I told you, it was all the perception of what was going on based on their thoughts in their brains. And that's how they came up with these conclusions from the thoughts. And what appeared to be wasn't actually what was. When I work with my clients, I teach the philosophy of the thought model, which is your thoughts create your results. And how this is broken down is you have a thought in your brain. That thought creates a feeling in your body. From the feeling in your body, you take action, and that action creates your results. So your thoughts create your results. Most people just keep coming back to the action. This didn't work, so I have to take a different action. Say I come over to your house and we're having a great time. We're laughing, we're talking, we're having drinks, we're having dinner. And then all of a sudden, your partner says something about you, like not doing something you were supposed to do that day. And all of a sudden, you feel attacked and judged, and it ruins your evening. And when I leave, the second the door closes, you two argue about it. And then you don't talk to your partner for 3 days until you've forgotten or decide to drop it, or if you're finally ready to talk about it. And meanwhile, I didn't even notice the comment, and I have a wonderful evening, and my life goes on as usual. See, we both experienced the same situation, but we just had different thoughts about it. Your thought was, he's criticizing me. I'm not good enough. I can't do anything right. And my thought was, oh, it was such a lovely dinner. It's been way too long since we've hung out. We really need to do this more often. But we both experienced the exact same thing, but we had different thoughts about it. So your thoughts create your results. If you want to create anything in this fabulous midlife of yours, and remember, midlife, like I'm going to scare you a little bit. I'm here to shake you up. Midlife, like you are halfway through your life. If you're lucky, we don't know. We don't know when our time comes. So we want to make the most of every single day. So the reason that I'm telling you all of this is because I don't want you to spend so many amazing years struggling, being stuck, having a midlife crisis, which just means I don't know who I am. I don't know what my purpose is. That's all that is. So let's get over that and let's get busy. Let's spend those years living this life, exploring, going on big adventures instead of being stuck in this, because it's so painful to be stuck and to not know and spend and waste your days in misery, in the abyss. No, let's break out of this. I have trained with dozens of leaders and mentors over the years. And everyone's teachings always come down to the basic same thing. If you want to create anything at all, it doesn't matter if it's a new job, if it's a better relationship, if it's more money, if it's a better body, more health, bigger adventures. If you want to create any of this, you create it in your mind with your brain, with your thoughts. That's how it starts. You want to be the conscious thinker of your thoughts. Most people, and you also want to be the watcher of your thoughts. Those are two things. Normally, like most people, will let our subconscious run the show and then just wonder why it's not working. Like, what does that mean, subconscious? It means like when you brush your teeth, do you think about brushing your teeth? No. When you walk, do you think about walking? Nuh-uh, you don't. Even when you're driving to work, a place you go every day, do you think about driving to work? No, you just arrive at work. And the reasons this happens is because our brain is designed for three things: to avoid pain, to seek pleasure, and to conserve energy. And so if your brain is like, look, Heather's doing this every day, she does this. So why don't we just commit it to our subconscious where it just knows what's happened, but we don't have to take up all this space in our brain. We don't have to take up all this space actually thinking about making it happen. That's where it becomes subconscious. It's not in our conscious awareness. It's running in the background. And that's how we create everything that we do in this present life, because we're not putting our awareness on it. And most of the times, our subconscious was shaped by the people that we spent the most time with. So, what I'm trying to say is our parents and our family, and their beliefs they're not usually what we truly believe. We think it is. It's subconsciously running the show only just because of convenience and repetition and just opportunity of where you are and who you're hanging out with. Those people shape who you are. Those people kind of create your subconscious. So you're not aware of what's running in your subconscious. And what I'm saying is Let's be aware of what's in our subconscious and then let's question it. Is this really what we want? We don't want to let our subconscious run the show and then wonder why it's not working. So we're going to consciously create our thoughts. And this is where the magic happens. And we can create anything that we want. So we're the thinker of our thoughts. We're the person that has this thought in our brain. But also, when we step back, we can be the watcher of our thoughts. We're these two people, these two things happening all at the same time. But when we're the watcher of our thoughts, we're like, oh, look at that. Like if we could replay that time when I came to your house for dinner and you were realizing that you were thinking something negative, he's criticizing me. I'm not good enough. You're like, oh, look at that. The reason I'm feeling angry, the reason I'm feeling hurt, the reason I'm feeling attacked is not because of the words that my partner is saying. It's because of what I'm putting on them. Because your partner isn't thinking, she's so lazy, she never does enough. Your partner just randomly made a comment because you said you were going to do something and they were just checking up to see if you did it to support you. But because of your upbringing and your dad used to say that to you all the time, you're so lazy, you're not doing enough. Come on, take action. Don't just sit there and be lazy. This is what's coming up for you. And when you question it, now you're like, oh, because I would be like, and here's how you know. Here's the action that you can take, like the awareness that you can have is like, if somebody says something to me and all of a sudden I feel something in my body, like my I get hot or there's a lump in my throat or there's something in the pit of my stomach. That's your body reacting. That's the feeling that you're having. And so your body is telling you you have a feeling. And when you have the awareness of, oh, what's just happening in my body? So anytime I feel something other than wonderful, I'm like, oh, what just happened? Like there's a feeling in my body. I'll say this to myself. What was I just thinking that caused this feeling? Not what did he just say to me? Not what did she just say to me? What was I just thinking that caused this feeling? Because my body's giving me feedback. These feelings are just feedback, not right or wrong, just feedback. Meaning, hey, you're thinking that this is out of alignment with who you are and what you believe in the world, incongruent with your perception of who you are in this world and what you believe to be true. And that's why it gives you feedback. So remember, if you have a thought, then it creates the feeling, "Ooh, I'm being attacked." And then if you act from being attacked, then you're going to defend yourself. So that's how our thoughts create our results. But if you can know that you've created this feeling, because person says words. When I come over to your house, your partner says something that's just like person says words. I'm neutral, you're upset. Person says words. Okay. But when you can see how it works, you can be like, oh, I'm thinking something about that. And instead of that person having to change, I can change my thoughts about that person or what was said. And when I change my thoughts about it, I feel differently. So if my thought is like, oh, my partner is just so supportive because he knew I wanted to do that, like, and I always forget. So he's trying to remind me so I don't forget. If my thought is like, he's so thoughtful, he always has my back. I'm going to feel supported. I'm going to feel fantastic. I'm going to feel loved. And then my action is going to be something totally different besides defend and fight and argue. Do you see how it's like the same situation, but I just had a different thought about it? That's all it is. That's why when you want to create something, it's not always about the action because if you're trying to create this thing over here, which is a life that you love, like say you want to create this big trip for yourself, but you're thinking, oh my God, I could never afford that. Oh my God, I could never take this time off work. Oh, I could never travel by myself. These are your thoughts going on. Then it makes you feel scared. It makes you feel like it's never going to happen, impossible. So you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling defeated. you're feeling afraid, scared, worried, then you're going to take action from this place. But if you have the thought that other people have done this before me, I know it's possible for me. I'm a smart person. I can figure this out. See the thoughts. Now I'm feeling inspired, motivated, excited. I'm going on an adventure. I'm curious. I'm determined to make this happen. And the action I take from those feelings is going to be totally different from fear. Actually, when I'm feeling afraid, inaction can be an action too. And that's what happens for me when I get overwhelmed. Inaction, shut down. And if I'm feeling overwhelmed and shutting down, I'd be like, what was I just thinking? I have so much to do. I don't know where to begin. That's overwhelming. I shut down. That's not serving me. So then a better thought would be like, if I just could do one thing to get me one step closer, what would that be? Oh, that feels easier. That feels doable. So now I'm going to take action from a place of, yeah, I 100% could do that. So it'll be a different action. And remember too, when you do the thought model, you have a thought, there's a thought, you have a feeling about it, then there's an action. You're going to have a bunch of actions on that line. You're going to have a bunch of actions that you can do. And when you're ready to take action, just take one of those things, the smallest little thing that will take you a step forward. That's all you need. Just to go one step forward, the smallest action. And remember, when you're trying to achieve something, it's the consistency of taking that small action every single day. Self-discipline. Every single day, I'm going to show up for myself and do this one thing. I always use the example of speaking Spanish because I keep getting these memories on Facebook from 7 years ago. Well, gosh darn it, if I would have done this little practice every single day for 7 years, I would be fluent in Spanish right now. That's the power of doing small things consistently over time. Like I'm I live in a strata and I get to focus on helping solve all the problems in this strata. And one of the houses, there was this huge tree that grew roots underneath the concrete, and the concrete pushed up, and the sliding glass door of the house got pushed up, and all of these things had to be torn down and replaced because the roots had totally pushed cement and moved a house. What the heck? How did this happen? It happened very slowly over time, little by little, inch by inch. That's how the roots of this huge sequoia tree totally demolished a cement patio and a sliding glass door. Just one little inch at a time. Inch by inch, life is a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. This is how we can achieve anything that we want. This is you taking your power back. This is you deciding, I want to live a big, full, exciting life. And I'm not going to waste any more time thinking that I'm stuck and I don't know how to start and I don't know what to do, because I just told you exactly how to start and what to do. You just insert your dreams in there and then follow that philosophy, and it'll work every single time. But guess what? It's new. You've never done it before, so you're going to fail at it. That's okay. You're not just going to go right out of the gate and win every single first time you do it. You're going to have to fail. But a failure isn't a bad thing. This is how you fail forward. This is how you learn and grow. If you do something and it doesn't work, then you're like, ah, that didn't work. What could I try instead? The only time you ever fail is when you quit and give up on yourself. That's the only time you ever fail. So please put this into action. This will change your life. This will get you the results that you're looking for. We are consciously creating our thoughts in our brain. This is where the magic happens. And we can create anything that we want. This is so powerful in midlife, because midlife is kind of like we're starting over. You know, our kids dump us, and then we're like, okay, what now? And if you use this tool, you can create anything that your heart desires. I promise you, if you master one skill, just this one skill, you can create anything that your heart desires. If you want help with this, reach out because there's nothing more satisfying and fulfilling than empowering and helping other midlife mamas to make their wildest dreams come true. Thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.